I loved someone I should never have loved, and I still carry that silence in my chest. My name is Anna. I'm 34 years old, and I live in a small town near the sea in southern England. The streets here are quiet. On Sundays, you can hear the church bells from anywhere. People know each other by name. The air smells like salt, and the seagulls cry above the rooftops. I work at a small library. I spend my days helping people find books, fixing old shelves, and watching the rain fall outside the big windows. It's a quiet life. Sometimes too quiet. But I haven't always been this way. There's something I never talk about. Something I've kept hidden for years. A feeling I never asked for, and a choice that broke something inside me. This is not a story about romance. It's a story about pain. About loving the wrong person. About losing the right ones. I met Ava when we were 9 years old. It was the first day of school after summer. I was sitting alone under the big tree near the playground. I had a book in my lap. I was not reading. I was just turning the pages, trying not to feel scared. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know how to talk to new people. Then I saw her. She had wild red hair, bright eyes, and mud on her shoes. Her white socks were dirty, and her knees were green from grass. She was laughing loudly with another group of kids. But suddenly, she stopped, looked at me, and walked over. "Hi," she said. "Do you want to be my best friend?" Just like that. I blinked. I didn't know what to say. I had never heard anyone ask something so big, so quickly. But I nodded. And from that moment, she was mine, and I was hers. We did everything together. After school, we ate biscuits in her kitchen, watched cartoons on the floor, and played dress-up with her mom's old clothes. We had sleepovers almost every weekend. Sometimes we stayed up talking until the sky turned blue again. We shared secrets. First crushes. Sad days. Silly jokes. Fears about growing up. She liked loud music and dancing in the rain. I liked quiet books and drawing small flowers in the corner of my notebooks. But we always made space for each other. She filled my silence. I gave her my calm. I loved her like a sister. Maybe even more. Time passed. School ended. Life changed. At 25, she called me one morning, screaming with joy. "I'm getting married. His name is Ethan. You have to meet him." I laughed with her. My heart was warm. And then I met him. Ethan had kind eyes. Brown, deep, and calm. He had a slow way of talking, like every word mattered. He was the kind of person who listened more than he spoke. When he smiled, it felt real. Gentle. I liked him. Right away. Not in a big way. Not in a dangerous way. Just, he felt safe. He loved her. That was clear. The way he looked at her, held her hand, stood by her side. He was good to her. He was good to both of us. At first, that's all he was. Ava's husband. My best friend's love. A nice man who made her happy. But slowly, something changed. It didn't happen in one day. It was slow. Quiet. Like rain filling a glass, one soft drop at a time. I started to notice his voice in the room, even when he wasn't talking. I looked for his laugh at dinner. My heart felt different when he walked into the room. I told myself, stop it. This is wrong. But the feeling didn't stop. It grew. And I was afraid. Because I loved her. And something inside me was changing. It didn't happen all at once. No big moment. No loud music. No lightning in the sky. It started with small things. A smile that stayed in my mind longer than it should. A laugh that made something move inside my chest. A silence between us that felt warm, too warm. I didn't understand it at first. I thought it was just comfort. Or maybe kindness. He was always kind to me. But then, one night after dinner at their house, I drove home in the dark. I turned off the radio. I didn't want music. I didn't want noise. I just felt something heavy in my chest. I said it out loud, even though no one could hear me. I can't feel this. He's hers. I felt ashamed. Ashamed for feeling something I had no right to feel. Ethan wasn't mine. He was Ava's husband. My best friend's love. The man she dreamed of. The man she built her life with. But love doesn't ask permission. It just arrives. Quietly. Like fog in the early morning. And when you finally see it, it's already all around you. Still, I never said anything. Not to him. Not to her. Not even to myself, not clearly. I smiled. I helped clean up after dinner. I brought flowers on birthdays. I gave presents to their baby. I laughed when they laughed. I sat across from them at the table, pretending my heart wasn't falling apart. And when the evening ended, and I got in my car to drive home, I cried. Not loud. Not wild. Just quiet tears that slipped down slowly as I looked at the empty road ahead. I remember once Ava kissed Ethan on the cheek and said, "I love you, babe." He smiled and touched her hand. I looked away. That small moment stayed in my mind for days. I hated myself for watching. I hated myself for wanting. I hated myself for being there. I started avoiding mirrors. I didn't like the person I was becoming. Who was I now? This wasn't love. It couldn't be. It was pain. It was silence. It was loving someone in secret, quietly, deeply, painfully. I wasn't proud of it. But it was real. And the worst part? I couldn't talk to anyone. Not my mother. Not my friends. Not Ava. Especially not Ava. I carried it alone. So I began to write letters I never sent. I walked longer after work. I stayed up late reading old journals. I tried to forget. But every time I heard his voice, or saw his eyes, or felt the warmth of his presence, the feeling returned. Like a soft wind that finds the cracks in your walls. Time moved on, slowly, softly, like waves on a quiet shore. I tried to keep myself busy. I had to. If I stayed still too long, the thoughts would come, and they hurt too much. So I picked up my old paintbrushes. They were dusty. Dry. Forgotten for years. I bought new colors from the little shop down the street, soft blue, deep green, warm yellow. I started painting again, just like I used to before everything changed. I painted flowers. I painted windows. I painted the sea. But somehow, every face I painted looked a little like him. I also went on a few dates. I tried. I sat across from kind men who smiled at me and asked about my favorite books, my favorite meals, my dreams. I smiled back. I tried to feel something. But no one felt like him. No voice felt like home. No touch felt warm. No moment felt real. He was like a quiet song playing in the background of my life, always there, even when I tried to turn it off. And then, Ava had a baby. A beautiful little boy named Leo. She called me with tears in her voice, full of joy. I want you to be his godmother, she said. Please. Of course, I replied. I said it quickly. I smiled through the phone. But when I hung up, I sat on my bed for a long time, just sitting. Just breathing. At the hospital, I held him for the first time. He was so small. So soft. His fingers wrapped around one of mine. His skin smelled like milk and sleep and something new. I kissed his little forehead. And inside, I felt something break, not in anger, not in jealousy, but in deep, deep sadness. I loved him. I did. But I also felt like I was watching someone else's life from a window, a life I could never have, a family I could never belong to. Months passed. Leo grew. They invited me for his birthday. That night, Ava fell asleep early on the couch. She had been up since dawn, preparing everything. I stayed behind to clean up, put away the wrapping paper, wash the dishes, collect the toys off the floor. It was just me and Ethan in the kitchen. The lights were soft. The room smelled like cake and candles. He stood near the sink, quiet. I dried a plate, slowly, carefully. My hands were shaking just a little, but I kept going. Then he spoke. "Are you happy, Anna?" His voice was soft. Almost a whisper. But it hit me like a storm. My hand stopped. I looked up. His eyes met mine. And for a second, the world was silent. "I don't know," I said quietly. And that was the truth. He nodded, almost like he had been waiting to hear it. "Me neither," he said. Then he turned and left the room. He didn't say more. He didn't look back. But I stood there, holding a damp dish towel, and my heart knew something I didn't want to know. He felt it too. This quiet, painful thing between us, it was real. And that truth scared me more than anything else. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed with the lights off, staring at the ceiling. My room was quiet, but inside me, everything was loud. I kept hearing his voice in my mind. "Me neither." Just those two words. But they stayed. They echoed. I turned over, again and again. I looked at my phone. I watched the clock change, 2:14. 3:26. 4:41. I thought about 100 things. Should I talk to him? Should I leave town? Should I tell Ava the truth? But every thought felt like fire. Every idea ended in pain. So I closed my eyes and tried to breathe. Deep in. Slow out. When morning came, the sky was gray. Cold. And I was tired, not just in my body, but deep in my soul. That was the moment I made my choice. I didn't send a message. I didn't say anything big. I just stopped showing up. No more dinners. No more visits. No more late-night talks or baby birthdays. I made small excuses. "Sorry, I have work. I'm just really tired lately. I think I need some time." Ava asked me once, her eyes soft, "Are you okay?" I smiled, a small, broken smile. "Yeah," I said. "Just busy." She looked at me for a long time. I think she knew something was wrong. But she didn't push. She trusted me. And that made it even harder. I missed her. I missed holding Leo in my arms. I missed Ethan's quiet voice. His thoughtful questions. I missed feeling like I belonged, even if I didn't. But I couldn't stay. Not like that. Because some loves are too heavy to carry, especially when they're not yours. So I walked away from the people I loved. To protect them. To protect myself. To protect a friendship I had no right to break. And in doing so, I broke my own heart. It's been 5 years now. The seasons have changed many times. Trees grew leaves, lost them, and grew them again. Children I once held in my arms now run past me in the street. But some things, they stay. Ava and I still talk sometimes. Not like before. Our words are lighter now, softer. Safe. Like we're walking on thin glass and don't want it to break. We talk about books, recipes, the weather. But never about him. Never about then. It feels like we are both hiding something behind our backs, something heavy, something full of silence. I see Ethan sometimes, at the grocery store. A short glance across the fruit aisle. A nod near the bread section. Once, we smiled. Just a small, tired smile. Nothing more. We never speak. And that is what hurts the most. Not the love I never had. But the friendship I lost. The closeness. The laughter. The way she would look at me and just know what I was feeling. The way I would show up at her door with coffee and no reason. The way we used to hold each other's sadness with care. That's gone now. And I know I'm the one who let go. I still live in the same flat above the little flower shop. I still work at the library. Every morning, I open the big windows and let the sea air in. The waves sound like breathing. Slow. Steady. Sometimes I sit on the floor with an old photo album. I look at pictures of us, 3 smiling faces, a baby in the middle. And I wonder if they remember me the way I remember them. But I'm different now. Quieter. Wiser. Softer in some ways. Stronger in others. I've learned that love isn't always soft. Sometimes it's a fire, warm, bright, beautiful. But dangerous. And sometimes, you have to walk away from that fire. Even if it's the only thing keeping you warm. I don't talk about it much anymore. Some stories don't need to be told out loud. They live inside you, soft, quiet, and real. You carry them, like an old letter in your pocket. Always there, even when no one sees it. These days, I found peace in the small, quiet things. I like the smell of old books, that dry, dusty scent that reminds me of being a child, sitting in corners, reading stories I didn't fully understand but loved anyway. I spend more time at the library now. I run my fingers along the spines of books, feel their stories waiting. I listen to the soft sound of pages turning. I shelve books with care, as if they are made of glass. Outside the windows, I often hear the laugh of a child, high and free, floating in the air like music. I pause and let it fill me, just for a second. I paint again, not because I have to, but because it brings me calm. I paint slowly, with soft colors. Trees. Hands. Empty chairs. The sea. I walk more now. Long walks by the shore, where the sky meets the water. I watch waves roll in and roll out, again and again, like the rhythm of a quiet heart. Sometimes I pick up smooth stones and carry them home, just to feel their weight in my palm. I smile at strangers, old women carrying flowers, children with ice cream, couples holding hands. They don't know my story, and that's okay. I don't love anyone right now. But I'm not empty. I'm full of little things, soft mornings, warm cups of tea, handwritten lists, favorite songs, clean sheets, quiet afternoons. They don't fix everything, but they help. Sometimes, I see a family walking on the beach, mother, father, child. Their hands linked. Their faces glowing in the sunset light. And yes, something tugs at my chest. But I close my eyes. I breathe in the sea air. Salt. Wind. Life. And I remind myself. I loved, deeply, fully, even when I wasn't supposed to. I let go, gently, bravely, even when it broke me. I stayed kind, honest, soft, even when my heart was tired. And maybe, just maybe, that kind of love is enough. Has your heart ever felt like mine? If this story touched something inside you, please comment. Share it with someone who understands quiet pain. And thank you for listening to my heart. Where are you listening from?